I'm Taylor Vitani. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of The Living Show, Living in Shelby Township. I'm here with my new friend Faith here at the Pioneer Cabin at the Nature Center here in Shelby Township. And Faith is going to tell us a little bit about what goes on here at the Pioneer Cabin. I know that normally there's the Pioneer Christmas here at the cabin, and this year, because of COVID-19, things are a little bit different. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, things are a lot different this year. Without being able to welcome the public into the Nature Center in as a large a number as we normally have, we've had to make some adjustments. And one of the adjustments that we made was, instead of having ornaments in our theater room, we put together ornament kits. And you can purchase those kits. You just contact the Nature Center. You get 6 ornaments for $5. And in that kit, you'll have everything you need other than a glue gun for that ornament. And you'll also get a link to YouTube for the actual instructions.
Okay, so that way you'll at least know with the parts that you're receiving how you're going to put it together.
Yeah, how to put it together.
And this is like genuinely how pilgrims and, Pioneer Days type thing, they put these together to make their Christmas ornaments. Is that right?
Well, some of them are more modern than others, but we do try to use natural items in order to make those ornaments, and things that you would find commonly out, although clothespins most people don't use anymore.
Well, with a few modern touches, it's basically just putting little things you find, putting them together to make a cool new Christmas thing. So that's really cool. So what do they normally do besides the bulbs? What kind of other things do you do normally for the Pioneer Christmas?
Well, at Pioneer Christmas, this cabin, which is our Pioneer Cabin, is open to the public. It would be decorated for the time period. Right now it's decorated for modern times, and that was because we decided, instead of opening it and having people come in large groups, we would open it up and people could use the cabin for a unique experience in their Christmas pictures.
Very cool. It's a good idea.
For $15, you get 20 minutes in the cabin with your family. You will be in here all alone with yourselves. The only other person will be here is myself, and that's just because I'm a steward for this cabin to make sure that everything stays nice, doesn't get broken, that sort of thing. But they have use of the cabin. We'll light the fireplace for them. All the candles will be lit, and it really gives a unique photo opportunity for families. And in this time when you can't really do a whole lot this Christmas, it's kind of a nice remembrance for this Christmas.
I've got to tell you, I'm a little bummed because I know every year for the Pioneer Christmas, I've seen videos of reenactments for, Pioneer Days, which I'm sure this year is obviously everything's very different. But what kind of reenactments do you guys do with your visitors normally every year?
Well, we do the Pioneer Christmas, and in that one, I do cook in the fireplace, and we talk about the differences between a modern Christmas and what Pioneer kids would expect for Christmas. Okay. Then we also use this cabin when we welcome the public for Heritage Days. And when we do Heritage Days, it's basically talking about Shelby Township's history and the history of Riverbends Park. And there's a lot of history here. It began by settling this piece of property by Sarah and Peter Lyric, and they settled here in the 1800s. They were part of the Underground Railroad, and then later on, it became the home and horse farm of Joe Louis the boxer, and he had a horse farm here.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
So Joe Louis had a horse farm here, and he was called to serve his country. When he was serving his country, his family mismanaged his funds, and the property was lost to the state of Michigan. State of Michigan took it over, and eventually it became a Nike Air Missile Base.
Oh, wow.
And so there's a lot of history here.
Tons of history.
And, we use this cabin to educate people about that history. We also use it to educate kids about the pioneer times and what life was like for pioneers. And in the summer months, we will offer a day camp, which is called Pioneer Camp. And at Pioneer Camp, the kids basically try to dress like pioneer boys and girls.
And live just like that.
And they will have a normal day just like a pioneer kid, which involves cooking their own foods, helping prepare foods, working in the garden, harvesting in the garden, gathering firewood, washing dishes. But we also do fun things. We make candles, we made soap, we made marbles, we made bags for the marbles, we made other toys like Jacob's
Is this
ladder.
just for kids, or can I join in on this? This sounds like fun. I would love doing that. That's so cool.
It's a lot of fun, and we talk about, how Dutch oven is cooked, how you cook with Dutch ovens, and they do cook with it.
That's awesome.
So it's a lot of fun. We've had kids that come back 2 years or 3 years in a row because they've had so much fun.
Well, it's such a unique opportunity to be able to take a week and live like that, just kind of putting yourself in the shoes of someone who really would be in a Pioneer Days type of scenario. That's very cool. So besides the ornaments that you're going to talk a little bit more about the specifics of the ornament pack if people come to buy them, besides that, what kind of other things did the Pioneers do to celebrate Christmas?
Well, they lived far apart. So usually when family and friends came to visit, it was a day event, and so they would bring their instruments with them so that they could entertain one another, and they would share food, bring food with each other, and share the food that the family itself that lived in the home had. One of the other things is, when you would have a fireplace like this, it would not be really commercialized stockings. They actually hung their real socks on the fireplace. So they would hang their sock up on the fireplace, and what they would normally tend to expect to find would be an orange, an apple, and maybe a penny. And they would also maybe find one small toy that was homemade. Could be a top, it could be a small doll made out of corn husk, it could be a rag doll. But they really didn't receive a lot of gifts.
Much simpler
They didn't
time.
have a lot. So, they were happy with what they got. But when you think about it, a penny back in the 1800s was worth a lot of money.
A lot more than what a penny's worth now, for sure.
So I think the last time I looked it up, the equivalent of a penny for the 1800s would have been more like around $15. So that would have been a windfall for a kid. But they really wouldn't have gotten any commercialized dolls or anything. It would be more like small things, and maybe they'd get some new piece of clothing that was made, because most of the time they didn't have a whole lot of clothes. I tell kids, when you look in this cabin, what do you see as far as a dresser or a closet? Do you see one? Well, there's your dresser. You've got a trunk, and over there you've got a wardrobe. But there may have been 5 people in this cabin, and they all shared those 2 pieces of furniture. That meant you probably had only 2 outfits. You had your fun clothes and your work clothes, and then you had your go-to-meeting clothes. And so when you were out church or whatever and visiting in the community, then those work clothes got washed. But for the most part, people didn't have a whole lot of things. And when you grew, you got the next kid's clothes and the next kid's.
That's not just Pioneer times. That happens to me right now.
But, it's not like today where you get 5 pairs of jeans.
Right.
They had very little. And then when things wore out, it wasn't thrown away. They were probably the best recyclers. They kept everything, and they made rag rugs. They used it to make quilts. And a little girl by the age of 8 would have made her first quilt. That's awesome. And that's because they were taught from an early age to do those things. Now, that quilt may not have been for a big bed. It would have been for her doll.
But just for her to know how to do that.
Learning. It was all about learning and teaching. And when it came to schooling, if they didn't live close to school, a lot of times those kids were schooled by their parents. And if the parents couldn't read, sometimes what would happen is the neighbor could. So the family would trade. We'll do this, and you teach my child.
Oh, very interesting.
And so, it's kind of like homeschooling today in some aspects. Not everybody has an expertise in science. So, a homeschooling group may go to another family, and that person's parents have that. And so they switch off. Okay, I've got this expertise in math. You have this in science. We'll trade with our kids, and it allows them to socialize. And that was all part of that.
Very cool.
Back during that time period.
That's so interesting. So now I'm thinking about the ornament making. So how many ornaments does the pack come with, and which ornaments come in that pack?
So there are 6 ornaments altogether, and those ornaments are here on our tree. We have a reindeer, which is made out of a pine cone. Then we have a snow globe, and then we have a penguin, which is made out of a pine cone as well. We have a clothespin toy soldier. We have the caroler holding a book. And then the 6th ornament is made out of different sizes of popsicle sticks, and it's a radio flyer.
Oh, cool.
So you have a sled as well. Now, for the first 25 families that buy kits, we throw in an extra one.
Oh, very cool.
So if you're in the first 25, you get 7 ornaments for $5.
Wonderful.
And so it'll come in a bag, and inside the bag are, the kits are all put together in individual bags. And then there's a flyer in there that gives you the connection for the YouTube instructions.
Okay, and then that's how you'll go, if you want to know how to put it together, just go on YouTube, follow the link, and then there you go. You can figure out how to put it together.
Now, the ornament kits will be available until December 15th. And they must be picked up by the 18th.
And they pick them up here at the Nature Center, correct?
They pick them up at the Nature Center. You just call us, tell us when you're going to pick them up, and it's kind of like curbside delivery.
Right.
Come up to the door, and you don't have to stay. You can just come pick it up and then take them home.
Awesome. You can't beat that. 6 ornaments for $5, or how much is it just individually?
$1 per ornament.
So definitely get the pack, you guys. It's going to be so cool. Such a fun family activity for the whole family to enjoy. You're definitely going to want to get one of these packs. If anyone has any questions, should they call you at the Nature Center?
Yes, you can call us at the Nature Center during normal business hours. So that would be Wednesday through Saturday from 10 until 6. And then on Sundays, we're open from noon until 5.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Faith, for joining us today. We're so excited to kind of be here experiencing the Pioneer Cabin. We wish you guys could be here with us, but make sure that you go and pick up your pack of ornaments.
Dogs, puppies, good boys, and our best friends. There's no better way to bond with them than spending time outdoors. But when it's time for them to go, make sure you pick up their poop. It prevents germs from spreading and keeps the parks clean. Thank you for continuing to make Shelby Township a great place to live.
Well, we're hoping that we get back to normal as soon as possible. First and foremost, our concern is always the safety of the seniors in the building. And unfortunately, with this pandemic, we know that seniors are the most at-risk population. So our efforts from cleaning to sanitizing to mask wearing and all of that will all be focused on what the government guidelines are to keep everybody safe. And that really is going to be our goal going forward in the short term anyway. In the long term, we're hoping to have a year bigger and better than we've had in the past. We're hoping to make up for the things that we weren't able to do in 2020 by making our things even better. So we're looking forward to getting back and having people and events and programming that people can actually attend in great numbers and getting back to some sense of normalcy. And on behalf of all of us here, our whole staff, our Parks and Recreation members that are now across the hall from us, we're so glad to have had you in the building as much as we've had this year and look so forward to a brighter 2021. We wish everyone a very happy and healthy holiday season, and we look forward to seeing you very, very soon.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
Dogs, puppies, good boys, and our best friends. There's no better way to bond with them than spending time outdoors. But when it's time for them to go, make sure you pick up their poop. It prevents germs from spreading and keeps the parks clean. Thank you for continuing to make Shelby Township a great place to live.
Yes, Andrew, well, you know, it's you can't look anywhere and not see about all of the negative things in 2020. So we got some super exciting things planned for 2021. Obviously, a lot of them are based on where we're at and with the restrictions that we have, but it seems like things are heading in the right direction. So here at Parks and Rec and the Senior Center staff, they do a phenomenal job in our Nature Center, is we are planning activities, you know, for like we've always had in the past. Now, with that being said, some of the activities coming up soon, we have some virtual. So we're gonna have both options, but you have to be ready because from day to day, things are changing. So, but we have a lot of neat things up with Christmas, with the help from the Community Relations Department. You guys do a phenomenal job. Now with things being virtual, well, if we didn't have you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this virtual thing. So appreciate Brad and everything that you guys do there for us. So it's really helped keep our, for example, the annual tree lighting. Well, we've been doing that for 30 some years. If we didn't have the Community Relations Department, we won't be able to have it because we have the restrictions that we have, the amount of people right now. So things are different right now, but I think we're going with the times as good as we can. We still have activities here at the Activity Center. We have the walking, and these are all following the guidelines from the State Health Department, along with the everything sanitized daily, twice, 3 times a day, masks on, social distancing, and they can sign up for the walking classes right now. Previous to this latest health department order, we had pickleball in here. Social distance, X amount of people in, so we're doing the best we can, and people have been very understanding where we are. But with the Christmas activities coming up, to your question, Andrew, just want to touch on the virtual Santa that Parks and Recreation came up with, once again with the assistance from the Community Relations Department, with all the technical aspects of it. That filled out in 5 days, fully sold out. So now we're looking at adding another day. So if we do, we'll pass it along to promote it. So it's really exciting times in a different way. We have drive-through Santa here at the Activity Center. You drive through your car, you stay safe in your vehicle. Santa comes up, waves at the children. We have some music playing, Christmas music. You get a picture with Santa standing by the car window. You know, I mean, think about these children. You know, they're going through a lot right now. But think about when they're 50 years old, they look back at that picture, oh my gosh, we were in the car to see Santa Claus. Well, whether it's a good memory or bad memory, it's something that's going to be in the history books, and they're going to have, you know, that time right now, they're going to be able to see Santa Claus, whether it's virtual or at the drive-through Santa. So we're happy here at Parks and Rec that we're changing with the times, but that we hope the times are somewhat back to normal in 2021. Here at Shelby Township Parks and Recreation Activity Center, Senior Center, Nature Center, and our Maintenance Department, we want to wish all of our Shelby Township residents a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and let's have a wonderful 2021. Can't wait to see you soon in some of our activities and in our parks. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.